Hello everyone, how's it going? Today we are going to be watching an episode from Film Theory, the twist villain in Loki. I am very, excuse me. I am very excited for this. I really like Loki so far, especially like the dynamic between Loki and Dr. Mobius, I think. Anyway, yeah. Oh, and also I think I might be doing 2 videos in this episode just because I haven't posted in a while. But yeah. With that being said, let's get started.
The episode contains spoilers for the first 2 episodes of Loki.
Obviously.
Me, I presume? Please. If anyone is anyone, then I am you. I have an offer. That's why I found you. Let's hear it. I'm gonna overthrow the algorithm. The cards on the table. I could use a good lieutenant. Yeah?
Alright.
I don't know. Look, just show yourself. This cold open ain't getting any colder. Fine. But be warned, the truth isn't always what you expect.
A frog. Seriously.
So that's the big... Okay, should we just hop into the theory then? Oh, sorry, it was a slip of the tongue.
I think that would be fantastic.
Film Theory. Oh, dang it. Hold on, my camera's flipped, I think. 1 second, guys. Better.
Internet, welcome to
Film Theory,
where I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so we can magically appear in your sacred timeline of YouTube videos. Speaking of blown up timelines, holy cow does Marvel Studios know how to use their chaos magic to turn Wednesdays on social media into one big Nexus event. The first episode of the new Disney Plus series Loki set record numbers, and considering the reveals that happened last night, the social posts aren't slowing down anytime soon. I mean, just as it looked like episode 2 was set
I love that.
Sonic Groove, another huge bombshell as it's revealed that the variant Loki Loki is chasing on behalf of the TVA is a girl.
Woman. I knew it. Like
female Loki. Oh, and she also set off a bomb that maybe blew up reality as we know it.
I didn't get that. Were those just multiple bombs going in multiple places, erasing multiple timelines, thereby making varying paths? Or were they all going to the where the time variants are? I didn't get that. Maybe they'll explain it in the next episode, but I don't know.
Recreated the multiverse, and here you thought the gender reveals that started Forest Fire.
1 second.
Still got 4 episodes left.
There.
Or what else could we be seeing next? Kid Loki, Lucky Charms Loki, Colonel Sanders Loki.
What?
Made that last one up, but admit it, you wouldn't be surprised. I see you, Colonel Sanders. I see you. White-clad, finger-looking good Lokis aside, this is a show where literally anything is possible.
Anything.
I mean, the central conceit is all about time travel, alternate timelines, weapons that rewind and fast-forward individual people, grenades that can blow up entire realities, multiple characters that can cast illusions, duplicate themselves, and use mind control, even a cosmic bureaucracy seemingly so powerful that they can vaporize demigods and use infinity stones as paperweights.
We actually got a lot of those.
I mean, not only is everything on the table, but everything is on the table. That's why it's good I'm not here today to try and predict what's going to happen in the show. Instead, I'm here to predict what the show is about. Yes, those are 2 very separate, very distinct things, though admittedly I might also throw in some what's going to happen stuff in here too. No, what I'm really interested in today is the metatext, the stuff that's happening around the margins of this story, because 2 episodes in, I'm getting a strong sense of where this is all headed and what the goal of the show really is. And if I'm right with all that, I think I know who the real bad guy of Loki is. It's you. So let's unpack this.
I don't get it.
What we're doing today is a type of literary criticism called new historicism. Literary criticism is basically a fancy word for interpreting a work of art and supporting your analysis with evidence. Basically a slightly more sophisticated version of writing a 5-paragraph essay for your English class. And there are lots of different ways to do it. You can look at the historical context around a work. You can look at the author and their beliefs. You can ask whether the author is a socialist or a feminist or has an unconscious oral fixation that's coming out through their work. Or you can just ignore all of that stuff and just read the darn book or watch the darn movie and analyze that. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere near that deep. New historicism criticism looks at the work in its historical context under the belief that, hey, this book or movie isn't just a product of an author, but the product of a moment in history. If you really want to understand what its intention is, you have to also understand the historical context into which it was published. And so that is what we're about to do with Loki, to understand why beneath everything else, this is a show about us and our relationship with the current state of Marvel. So let's start at the very top and work our way down, shall we? Starting with what we explicitly see take place on screen. Loki, the series, follows, shock of all shocks, Loki. Not the same one that we know from the first 14 years of MCU movies. He's still dead, most likely. Instead, this Loki is the one from Endgame who grabbed the Tesseract and escaped into a portal when the Avengers kind of bungled their time heist, thus creating an alternate timeline. Except, what no one expected was that the new timelines don't get to split off for very long. Apparently, there's a way overpowered cosmic police agency called the Time Variance Authority that monitor things like when a stray Loki goes rogue and immediately swoop in to collect him, drag him off to TVA HQ for processing, and set off suspicious-looking grenades that appear to delete incorrect timelines from existing. And yep, if you've been waiting however long for one of these things to answer whether or not a Marvel Cinematic Multiverse exists, Loki has your answer: no.
It doesn't. No, it's just one timeline.
But a multiverse used to exist. See, apparently there did used to be a whole mess of different universes, but that was a bad thing because all the different realities kept fighting with each other.
Long ago, there was a vast
that makes sense though.
Which you know is going to be the premise of a movie one day. You know it's coming. And
it's multiverse of madness, baby.
Like I and everyone else watching this scene on premiere night immediately demanded it from our mouse-eared overlords. Anyway, moving on. Supposedly the multiverse problem was solved by a trio of omnipotent cosmic beings called the Timekeepers. Blasted the whole shebang into a single reality called the Sacred Timeline. A single beginning to end straight line telling one true version of the story. And the TVA's role is to make sure that the past, present, and future all still happen the way they're supposed to by preventing variants like the escaped Loki from creating Nexus events, which spin off into alternate timelines. Now, why does that word sound
Nexus
so
beings?
Nexus.
Yep.
Because the world doesn't revolve around you.
But instead of erasing our variant Loki from existence entirely, TVA Agent Mobius wants to put him to work teaching a rogue Loki that's causing a go one layer deeper into the themes of the show. The themes, based on this initial premise, are pretty darn clear. Identity, freedom versus determinism, and the possibility of redemption. I mean, the whole plot is Loki literally on a quest to find Loki. It doesn't get any more explicit than that. And then, not only is he tasked with finding himself, but he also has to learn who he himself is in a sea of himself, and in a world where his decisions are predetermined. As the first episode says,
"You ridiculous bureaucrat will not dictate how my story ends."
It's not your story, Mr. Laverson. It never was.
And again, with Lady Loki.
This isn't about you.
And that, my friends, is our big question. In a world where everything is predetermined by a sacred timeline, what does it mean to be free? Go figure, the god of mischief is on the side of upsetting the apple cart and not being told what to do, whereas the TVA believes that the sacred timeline has to be upheld no matter what, which leads to probably the easiest prediction theory that I've ever had to make on the channel. The Time Variance Authority are not the good guys in the story. No, that is shocking. Go figure. The regime of time-space middle managers are bad, despite them saying that they're good. Who would have thunk it? It's not like there were any signs along the way, like, say, they're Minutemen field agents dressed like heavily armored riot cops. Their process
who don't care about erasing people.
Evoking the beige, fluorescent-lit, dehumanizing mazes of a DMV or a small claims court, and their entire overall aesthetic evoking a mix of mid-century American meets early Soviet bureaucracy. Not too hard to read this writing on the wall, but what's even more concerning is their philosophy, especially in the MCU, where individuality, free will, and the idea that we are not bound to our fate are like the core moral components to almost
those are like the main things of MCU. Hold on. I think, my camera's slow. Never mind.
Loki changed his ways to fight against Hela and Thanos, but that's not how the TVA sees it. Instead, Mobius informs Loki that his evil nature was always the plan of the sacred timeline, right up until it wasn't. That his only real purpose was to be a bad guy for the good guys to become good guys by defeating him.
You were born to be king, Loki. You were born to cause pain and suffering and death. That's how it is. That's how it was. All so that others can achieve their best versions of themselves.
But here's the kicker, they don't really have an explanation for why things have to be how they are. We're told the multiverse was bad to begin with, but, well, we don't actually know if that's true. We're supposed to take them at their word, even though the timekeepers stay out of sight, and apparently only directly communicate with judges. The timeline is sacred because the timekeepers say it is, period. Just
Right.
take it on faith. The whole thing sounds an awful lot like a religion, with omnipotent, godlike beings communicating their will through a chosen few that you just gotta believe. Heck, in episode 2, when Loki finally asks what the end of the whole big story is, Mobius says that they don't know. They're waiting for the timekeepers to untangle it and fill them in.
How's it all that? That's a work in progress. Oh, it's lazy talking. What are they waiting for? Hold temperature air.
No, because while we protect what came before, they're toiling away in their chamber, untangling the epilogue from its infinite future.
I see. So, when they're finished, what happens then? So are we.
In other words, the TVA doesn't even know what they're fighting, dying, and running cosmic black ops for. Forget religion, that's called a cult. And if they're truly the bad guys, well, remember that judge that sentences Loki? Her name is Ravonna Renslayer. In the
I don't know
comics,
what that
this name belongs to a princess, consort, and on-again, off-again romantic interest to Kang the Conqueror, one of the most feared and
Really?
powerful Marvel villains ever.
Wait, hold on. Am I crazy, or does that guy look like one of the timekeepers? Go back. Because I don't know much of comic lore or anything, but right there, doesn't that look like one of them? Doesn't he, right there, look like Kang the Conqueror? Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay, great. Yeah, one of the timekeepers is Kang the Conqueror. Yeah, I'm totally on board with that. It sounds really cool, honestly. I don't even know what this guy's about. Maybe he's about time travel too. I'm pretty sure he's about to tell us though.
Reordering the timeline.
1 second.
And Slayer. In the comics, this name belongs to a princess, consort, and on-again, off-again romantic interest to Kang the Conqueror, one of the most feared and powerful Marvel villains ever. And wouldn't you know it, he just so happens to be a villain from the future, obsessed with reordering the timeline to ensure his victories, using time travel, reality hopping, and illusions to get exactly what he wants. Sounds an awful lot like the timekeeper
does.
supervising the TVA, doesn't it? And I learned from my
Yes.
mistakes watching WandaVision. If it looks like an Agatha Harkness and wears a brooch like an Agatha Harkness,
Bruh.
then chances are it's an Agatha Harkness. Big bad time travel guy.
I don't know if herself, like the judge herself, is gonna be bad. I don't know, but she's definitely working for Kang the Conqueror, and we're definitely gonna see her after this show. This is really interesting.
With a close hench person named Ravonna in every episode lingering on that final face in the center of the courtroom. Just saying, there's a chance that all these stories are connected. It also helps that the actor Jonathan Majors is believed to be playing Kang the Conqueror in the upcoming Ant-Man and the Wasp movie.
Right, I
know
remember.
There's a high likelihood that this guy's gonna show up in the relatively near future. But now it's time to
Right.
get to layer 3 of our analysis. Why we're the villains of this whole thing.
Yeah, why'd you say
The
that?
narrative. Think about what role the timekeepers play in the meta-narrative of the
second.
Loki story so far. Omnipotent beings who are aware of everything that's ever happened or will ever happen, and who have the
Right.
ability to send ultra-powerful agents to any place in the universe at any point in time, but instead of rescuing people from danger or stopping disasters or even trying to make anything better, they're exclusively concerned with making sure that the events on a timeline that they decided was the right version, the sacred version no less, continues to happen in the way that they already know them to have happened. Despite all their titles, these guys aren't keeping time, they're keeping convoluted thugs with batons going around literally beating up variants and blowing up mistakes.
Dang.
That's meant to be us. That Marvel
Say what?
narrative is pointing back at fans who might be getting ready to ruin everyone's fun because the timeline isn't perfect. The Darkhold from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't look exactly like the Darkhold from WandaVision.
okay,
In case you
yeah, I
think,
get this.
That seems to be a little on the nose for the moral of the series. Remember, Captain Marvel ended with every guy who complained about the concept of Carol Danvers being overpowered gets ragdolled across the desert.
Prove to me you can beat me with
Yep. I love that part.
Meanwhile, it's pretty clear based
Love
on how
it.
the series is turning out, the upcoming slate of films, that Loki is either going to end with fracturing the sacred timeline, or is setting the table for that to happen early on in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
I do think Loki is gonna overthrow the time variance, whatever. I do think that's definitely gonna happen because we need a multiverse. You know, a movie's gonna be Multiverse of Madness. So either Loki's gonna do it or Wanda's gonna do it. Actually, I don't think Wanda's gonna do it. I don't think Wanda would care. But Doctor Strange might employ. You know what? Nah, I'm not even
The
gonna talk about
worst
it.
kept secret in Hollywood is that Marvel's next big trick is probably that a cinematic universe is about to become a cinematic multiverse. The Sony-Marvel partnership is doing another animated Spider-Verse movie. Pretty much
Yep.
everyone already knows that Spider-Man No Way Home is
Is-
some kind of multiverse movie as well.
Mhm.
There's references.
Well, actually, hold on. Remember, like at the end of Spider-Man: Far From Home, when there was J. Jonah Jameson? Yeah, that already kind of proves that this is all just one big timeline with a bunch of old characters, a bunch of old timelines just melded together, basically.
To both the MCU and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies in the trailers of both Venom 2 and Morbius, and they're about to launch
Really? Oh wow, yeah, there it is.
an animated anthology series entirely
About what if.
alternate reality storylines.
I mean,
Whatever
come
they
on.
ultimately decide
All of
multiverse
this is
means
just-
in this context, the Marvel multiverse is coming. Probably pretty soon.
It is
It's a good
coming.
way to manage the expanded
Yes.
roster of properties. It lets you revisit characters you've otherwise
Quicksilver.
retired and try out ideas that might not be ready for the mainstream, as well as keep characters who might not play well with everyone else, like Deadpool, Blade, and Punisher, safely in their own spaces. You can use it as a hand wave to pull in established characters you've acquired from elsewhere, but keep them in their more famous forms, all while fixing inconsistencies. But the thing about a multiverse is, just like Miss Minute says in episode 1, they're messy, they're chaotic,
Right.
things get jumbled up. So, do you kowtow to the timekeepers and limit yourself to a strict deterministic series of events like the TVA, blindly following a path towards some unknown ends? Or do you side with Loki and loosen up a bit and allow for a little bit of chaos? Because guess what? Chaos can be kind of fun. Well, if I'm
Chaos
right
is
about
gonna be
this,
fun.
I'm feeling good about it so far. Then the Loki series is Marvel telling us their decision. A little bit of mess is worth it in the long run because it lets them
Totally.
do more fun stuff. When it comes
Evan
down to the
Peters.
choice between avoiding a continuity error or doing something awesome, they are going to try to do something awesome. Does time travel mean that suddenly Steve Rogers stayed oddly silent throughout national tragedies like the Vietnam War? How did Doctor Strange get everyone organized for the big final portal charge? Shouldn't he have intervened at some point throughout the entirety of WandaVision? Mistakes like that are gonna happen, but isn't it worth it just to hear Falcon's voice over Cap's
On your left.
On your left.
So whatever else Loki
Too
ends up
good.
having to reveal about the future, past, or in between of the MCU, the real statement Lady Loki was making when she bombed the sacred timeline was all about the series' meta-narrative.
Meta-narrative.
Not just putting the timekeepers on notice for whatever their canonical agenda is, but telling us to brace ourselves for the messy, the chaotic, but the much more interesting and narratively fulfilling multiverse to come. But
What
hey,
if?
that's just a theory.
Hold on. What time is it? Hold on, I need lights. Alright, yeah, so... Alright, cool. So I'm making 2 videos today. I gotta get to class right now, but I just wanted to say, you guys want... Hold on. Gonna turn on a light? Nope. Do you guys want me to react to Loki? I'm not gonna do it, but I just want to see how many of you guys actually want that. I'm gonna make another Loki video today anyway, you know? Alright, I'll see you guys later. Bye.